If you're falling asleep in lectures or sitting there for an hour and remembering nothing by the time you walk out, it's not because you're just lazy or unfocused. It's because the way you are approaching lectures is wrong. I'm a final year med student, and in this video I'm going to show you the exact method I use to get the most out of lectures without falling asleep or getting overwhelmed. Here's what's actually happening when you sit down in a lecture and your brain just switches off. Most students think they are not trying hard enough, but the problem isn't effort, it's the architecture. Think about arriving in a city you never visited before. You get off the plane, you don't have a map, and someone immediately starts giving you directions. Turn left at the old church, cross the roundabout by the pharmacy, take the underpass next to the market. Within 30 seconds, you're completely lost. Not because the directions are wrong, but because you don't have a mental map to attach them to. Every new instruction has nowhere to land. That's exactly what happens in a lecture when you haven't primed your brain. Your lecturer starts talking, and they are using words and concepts you've barely seen before. You don't know what each term means. You don't know how they connect to each other. So your brain is trying to process every single thing from scratch in real time with no map. That's what cognitive load is. It's the mental effort your brain spends just trying to keep up. And when it goes through the roof, you don't learn. You feel overwhelmed and like your brain has shut down. To make it worse, miss one sentence, one key term you don't catch, and the rest of the lecture stops making sense entirely. Because everything builds on what came before. You are not struggling because you are not smart enough. You are struggling because you walked into a foreign city without a map. And the fix isn't to pay more attention. It's to build the map before you arrive. Here's something that will probably surprise you. When do you think most of the actual learning happens? During the lecture, before it, or after it? Most students would say during. That's the whole point of attending, right? But research consistently shows that most of the deep learning actually happens before and after the lecture, not during. During is when you are catching the new information. Before is when you build the map that makes it stick. After is when you consolidate. Now here's where it gets interesting. The more you absorb during the lecture, the more your brain can keep up, understand connections, and actually engage. The less work you need to do after. You are not doing extra work before the lecture. You are moving work from after to before and making everything in between more effective. Studies show that priming before a lecture increases learning by close to 20%. But from what I've experienced, it's more. Because it doesn't just improve retention, it changes how the entire lecture feels. Priming your brain before a lecture isn't a bonus preparation. It's the thing that determines whether the hour you spend in that room is worth anything at all. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do it now. Because what I'm about to show you is the exact 10-minute routine I use before every lecture to get the most out of it. And here's the method. And I want to be specific because just skim the notes beforehand is useless advice. This is a structured 10-minute routine that changes what your brain does when the lecturer starts talking. Before you walk into a 1-hour lecture, open the lecture notes. Don't read them. Don't try to understand them. You are looking for one thing. The skeleton, the headings, subheadings, bolded terms, highlighted words. These are your landmarks. Go through them and for each one, ask yourself one question. Do I have even a rough idea of what this means? If you don't, spend 20 seconds on a quick Google search. Not to learn it, just to get a loose sense of what the word refers to. Once you've done that, draw a quick mind map. Connect the keywords based on what you think the relationship might be. It doesn't matter if it's wrong, it will be wrong. That's the point. You are not trying to understand the topic yet. You are building a rough map of a city you haven't visited yet. Some streets will be in the wrong place. Some landmarks won't exist. That's fine. Then you walk into the lecture with that map in front of you. And instead of trying to take in everything from scratch, you are doing something completely different. You are correcting your map, adding new connections, and you're filling the gaps. Your brain isn't overwhelmed. It has somewhere to put every piece of new information. That's what drops the cognitive load. Not working harder during the lecture, walking in with a rough version of your destination already in your head, 10 minutes before. That's all it takes to transform an hour of passive confusion and sleepiness into an hour of active learning. Now you have built the map. You have absorbed more from the lecture than you ever have before. But here's the part most students still get completely wrong. What you do with all of that material when it's time to actually prepare for the exam. There's one method that reduces revision time and forces the kind of recall that actually holds up under pressure. And most students have access to it and don't use it properly. That's what the next video is about. How to actually use past papers to study effectively. Click here to watch it next.